Hello and welcome to Cask Theology, a channel about theology and beer. Welcome to my What Is series, my series where I take a beer or a bit of theology and explain it. Today we're going to look at a beer that's taken the world by storm, the ever popular lager. Lager is by far one of the most popular styles of beer, sold worldwide and enjoyed by millions. So here's a brief history of lager. While cold fermentation and the processes used to make lager have been around for quite a while, lager's roots lie in the Czech Republic, where in 1842 Joseph Groll found himself working at the brewery in Pilsen. Bringing with him some new brewing techniques, he created a new pale beer inspired by some of the things he'd seen on his travels, which became known as Pilsner. The rest is history, and soon others wanted to create something similar to Groll's popular creation. Germany in particular was fond of this pale lager, and soon got to work creating their own unique styles. So, how's lager made? Well, as always, lager contains the basic beer ingredients of malt, water and hops. The process is mostly the same as with most beers. However, a specific yeast is used, known as Saccharomyces pastorianus, a name which I've probably just murdered, and the beer is conditioned at a very low temperature for either weeks or months, a process known in the biz as lagering. So the most common style of lager, the one you see in films, pubs and TV, is usually a form of pale lager, but as with other beers, there's always more made to make a lager. There's the Vienna style of lager, which was an amber-coloured competitor to Pilsner, but Groll's paler lager style became more popular. However, although this style died out in Europe, more or less, over in the Americas it continued to be brewed in Mexico and can be found all across the US. Lagers can also be dark, which up until 1842 was probably what it looked like. The processes remained mostly the same, but the malts and hops used produced a drink that doesn't look like the stereotypical lager you often see in the shops. Well, that's how it's made and the different styles, but there's nothing like a bit of first-hand experience, so let's head into the kitchen and see some lager in action. So, welcome to the Cask Theology kitchen. It's small and it's echoey, but it is fit for purpose. Before we begin pouring this lager, which I've selected to show you what a lager looks like and acts like, a quick word on glassware. Now, glassware is very, very important when it comes to beer. You should always use a clean and dry glass. If you don't use a clean, dry glass, it can have a negative effect on your beer. It can make it look bad and it can make it taste bad, and we don't want that, do we? Now, the glasses I've got on display, we've got the pint glass and we've got the half glass there. The ones you'll see the most in pubs is this lovely Nonic here. Now the Nonic is used for bitters and Guinnesses and things of that nature, used up and down the country in pubs. But what we have is a lager. Now lagers need a specific type of glass because lager is fizzy, it's carbonated. So what we want is lots of bubbles. So how do we get lots of bubbles in a beer? Well, this gross glass here, I'm just going to move it over to the dark section here, and if I tip it over, you can see, there we go, there's a little gross logo on there. It's upside down, but there's a little gross logo. Now what that is some scoring on the bottom of the glass. And what that will do is it will create imperfections. Bubbles form on imperfections. So what that's going to do for us is that it's going to create lots of lovely bubbles, which will then bubble up to give the lager its wonderful flavour and aroma and taste and things. So, the beer I've selected is actually a bottle of Beck's, which is a popular lager. So I'm going to remove those out of the way, and we're going to put this bottle of Beck's right there, and then we are going to pour it and show you the good and bad ways of pouring a beer. So, we have our bottle of Beck's and we have our nice, clean, dry glasses. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to open it up and I'm going to show you the right way to pour a beer and the wrong way to pour a beer. Of course, we're going to be showcasing this lovely lager. Beck's is a popular German lager. It's been around for quite a while, as you can see, since 1873, so from way back when. Germans do love a good lager, and this is a particularly good one. So, let's open her up. There we are. Now, when you're pouring a beer, you should always pour it at a 45-degree angle, and I'm going to show you why. So if I just lift him up there, oh, I can smell those hops coming out. Oh, lovely. Right, let's move those there. Now, let's have a look if we just pour it straight into this little Carling glass here. This is a fizzy drink, and oh dear, look at that. As you can see, it's mostly just froth. It will settle down, but yeah, I mean, look at that. It's just mostly froth. As you can probably see there's lots of little bubbles forming in there though. This little Carling glass does have a widget in it. But so, how do we pour a beer properly? Well, you take your glass, obviously nice and clean, there we go, and then we tip it at a 45-degree angle, always 45 degrees. Now what that will do is that will ensure that you don't get all that froth going all over the place. There you go, you can see not as much froth at all, and then when you get to the top, then we turn it up. Look at that, there we go. So there is a characteristic lager. Let's just move them in shot properly. There we go. You can see all the bubbles fizzling away. That's the work of the little imperfections at the bottom. You can see this is a pale lager. It's got a nice pale colour to it. It smells amazing. You smell all the hops and barley's coming through. Lager's always typified by the white head at the top and pale colour, and that is a Beck's lager. So that's a pale lager, and I hope you will now know what a lager is and what to look for. So next time you see someone drinking one of these, you'll know that is a lager.
Thanks for watching my explanation of lager. If you're so inclined, please like, share, subscribe, or check out one of the links in the description, or maybe check out my other video on screen. Until then, grab a drink and keep asking questions.